Imagine a desert, the Sahara, 3.5 million square miles of shifting dunes, blistering heat, and nothing. For centuries, we've looked at this wasteland as a dead zone, a place where life goes to die. But what if I told you that under those millions of tons of suffocating sand lies a ghost? Recent satellite data and LIDAR technology have just stripped away the golden veil of the desert, and what they found is terrifying the scientific community. We aren't just talking about a few ruins. We're talking about massive river systems, fortified cities, and a civilization that shouldn't exist, according to our history books. The Sahara wasn't always a desert. It was a garden. And it was home to something we were never meant to find. For decades, archaeologists were limited by what they could see with the naked eye. And in the Sahara, you see sand, lots of it. But then came LIDAR, light detection and ranging. It's essentially a laser that can see through the ground by stripping away surface layers. When scientists turned these lasers toward the empty quarter, the screen didn't show dunes, it showed water. Hidden beneath the Saharan floor is the Tamanrasset River, a massive ancient waterway that once flowed from the Atlas Mountains to the Atlantic. This wasn't a stream, it was a monster, comparable in size to the Ganges or the Mississippi. But where there is water, there is life, and where there is life, there are people. As the lasers went deeper, they started spotting shapes, perfect right angles, massive circular enclosures, walls that stretched for miles. Conventional history tells us that civilization in Africa was clustered around the Nile. The rest of the Sahara was supposed to be a playground for wandering nomads. LIDAR says that's a lie. Deep in the Libyan section of the desert, researchers found the remains of the Garamantes. But this wasn't a tribe living in tents. This was an urbanized empire. LIDAR revealed over 100 fortified settlements and thousands of fagaras, incredibly complex underground irrigation tunnels. These people were the masters of the desert. They moved millions of tons of rock to build cities in the middle of a furnace. But here's the twist. Their technology was so advanced, it actually allowed them to survive the desertification of the Sahara for centuries after the rest of the green world died. But even they couldn't outrun the sun forever. When the water table dropped, they vanished. But LIDAR is now suggesting they weren't the first. There is something older beneath them. If you look at Mauritania from space, you'll see it. The Richat structure, the eye of the Sahara. For years, geologists said it was just a weird rock formation. Sure, a perfectly circular multi-ringed formation that just happens to match Plato's description of Atlantis to a literal T. LIDAR scans of the area around the eye have revealed something shocking. The rings aren't just rock, they show signs of ancient water erosion on a massive scale. Even crazier, the surrounding plains are littered with thousands of prehistoric tools and evidence of massive human habitation from a time when the Sahara was a lush rainforest. Wait, it gets weirder. Scans have detected voids beneath the structure, large hollow chambers that aren't natural. Are we looking at the remains of the world's oldest city, buried under a mile of sediment from a cataclysmic flood? The most terrifying thing LIDAR has shown us isn't the life, it's the speed of the death. By looking at the sediment layers revealed by the scans, we now know that the green Sahara didn't disappear over thousands of years. It happened in a heartbeat. Around 5,000 years ago, the Earth's tilt shifted slightly. The monsoons stopped. The rivers dried. Millions of people were suddenly trapped in a drying oven. LIDAR shows us their final attempts at survival. Wells dug hundreds of feet deep into the bedrock, cattle enclosures that were abandoned with the animals still inside.
The Sahara is a graveyard, and every time a sandstorm moves a dune, we get a glimpse of a world that was just as advanced, just as proud, and just as vulnerable as our own. The more we scan, the more we realize that our history is like a puzzle with 90% of the pieces missing. The Sahara is holding those pieces hostage. If you want to see the 100-ton boxes that laser scanners still can't explain, click the video on the screen right now. We're diving deep into the tech the ancients used to move the impossible. And don't forget to subscribe to Era by Era, because the sand is shifting and the truth is coming out.